Hi there. Before we get started, for the purposes of this training and following our recent branding of our Lone Wolf products, I want to clarify a few translations. Web Forms, as you can see in the upper left-hand corner, Kriya Web Forms powered by Transaction Desk, is now referred to as Transactions, Transaction Desk Edition, but I will simply refer to it here as Transaction Desk. What you have known as RMS, which is BrokerWolf, is now Lone Wolf's back office, and I'll refer to the back office as such throughout the training. Because we can't always control how the agent follows the process the brokerage outlines, we can streamline the workflow and make things as efficient as possible for both agents and the back office staff. Our agenda today will include status changes to drive better transparency and notifications to your back office staff, notifications and the options you have as an individual user to edit to only see those items that you choose to. And once we set those notifications, we're going to push a pending deal as though we are an agent into the back office, look at the email that is sent, then log in to the back office to manage the checklist items from the link. Let's get started. As you can tell in my transaction desk, I'm on the member dashboard. I'm going to open a deal here. Let's take a look at those status changes. First, I want to show you a listing. From the transaction area, I'm going to select my listing. Here's a listing I prepared earlier. This detail does not push into the back office in menu 1.1. This is your agent listing file. Once a listing is complete or signed documents have been received, the agent will change the status here from open to active. This is your choice at the brokerage level to set the process of what your agent changes this to. But for a listing, it makes sense to change it to active, and then the right person will be notified in reviewing the listing here in Transaction Desk. Since we looked at this option, let's go ahead and navigate to System Settings. I just hit these three dashes, or what we refer to as the hamburger in the upper left-hand corner. Go to Setup and go to Type Management. There's a lot of different types throughout the system. We're going to focus today on transaction statuses. Here, you have global or system statuses that come default with your system. In the upper right-hand corner of this box, you can add or create a personal or office type. When you create an office type, other people can use it, and you can create a name, let's say active listing ready for review. Now keep in mind that new items that you add cannot be set to a particular notification. Not yet. That functionality is coming. So at this time, even though you can edit this, let's stick with those global settings. Now the same can apply for a pending deal. So we're going to take a look at notifications here in just a moment and what each individual person can do to set their own notifications. But notice the transaction statuses. An agent can come in and mark their deal as pending, and that email will be sent out. So not only for a pending deal, because you've requested that the agent be able to send that deal down to your back office, they will add the information in those 5 required fields. Once they select the classification, whether that be a selling side or listing side or so forth, they can also change that status. So now we have both an email notification to the right person and the blue indicator light in the back office to show you that that deal is new or has recently been updated. Let's take a look at those notifications. We're going to go back to that hamburger at the top of the page and go back to Setup and select Notifications. Of course, we have those General, Task, and Team Share. You can go through each of these notifications at your leisure and see what's going to work best. I'm going to look at the super user. Right now, as we talked about before, we have the general or those global settings that come default with your program available to trigger a notification to that super user. So I'm logged in as myself. I have selected that I want to get a notification of a status change. I also want a notification of a status being changed to active. Also, a notification of a status change to pending and save. So each super user can come into notifications and set their own notifications. That's what all of your super users or back office staff should do if they want those email notifications to be triggered out of Transaction Desk. Again, from the main menu, Setup and Notifications, drop down super user. I want to also mention each agent has an option to opt out of notifications. You navigate to this area and pick what you want to be notified on. Now that we've covered that transaction status and your notifications, I want to talk about your agents pushing deals to the back office. Let's go back to a deal. Going back to transactions, and let's take a look at a pending deal that, again, I've already created but have not yet pushed to the back office. Now, of course, I can click on the property or the elliptical on the right-hand side, go straight to the Details tab. In order to push this deal down to the back office, your agent will have to satisfy all of the blue fields, and there are 5 of them. First, property type. Scrolling down, the purchase price. Down further, the offer date and close date of the property. Typically, our brokerages do not allow agents to select the classification to push into their accounting. Your process is a little bit different than what we would typically recommend. It can still be done. That's why the option is here. When your agent selects the classification, a couple of things. They have to satisfy those 5 fields to be pushed. First, this will potentially leave non-executed deals in your back office. It could require more cleanup than initially. Just having your admin staff be notified of a new deal, come in, approve the deal by checking the form or the fully executed contract, and then selecting the classification to own that push to the back office. Having your agents push the deals to the back office, this is one area that could cause the most challenge for your process. To eliminate 2 deal files from hitting the back office, the instruction to your agents will have to be that the listing agent only on an in-house double-ended deal pushes the file. There's always room for human error here, but you can delete the file in the back office if it happens to be duplicated. It is going to require some additional searching for the property in the back office. The additional buyer's documents will be managed in Transaction Desk. So let's push this deal down to the back office and see what that notification looks like. Then, as an admin, we'll go into the back office and manage the checklist item. So under the classification, I'm going to select that I am representing the buyer. I will enter my commission here. Now, I'm still working as an agent. As an agent, I can also add any conditions that may need to be met if I'm tracking those contingencies. I can add a referral if I have a referral to be paid on my portion of the commission. This will also push down to the back office. I can add the outside broker if applicable. I can add a trust deposit to be received in the back office and store. Property details are saved. I'll go back to the dashboard and open our back office. First, let's take a look at that status change. So as I was pulling up the program, the status change from earlier that I had changed my listing from an open status to an active status was received. It also tells me who changed it. And there's my property address. When I pull up my trade records in the back office, there are a couple of things that you can do. As an admin of one particular office, of course, I can filter by office. So if for the next 2 hours I'm going to be working the Cambridge agents, I can select the Cambridge office or so forth, depending on what office I am working with or what agents I'll be working with at that given time. I can also sort by agent. So if I'm looking for a particular record or need to search only the agent In particular, I can filter those agents by the agent number if I know it, or I can just start typing in the agent name using the magnifier and find the agent I'm looking for. So here I'm going to see the updated or new blue indicator lights that tell me this is a new or updated deal from Transaction Desk. I was just working on Bower Bay. This is the one that pushed right down from Transaction Desk. Going to the Key Info tab, I'm going to show you a couple of things. All of the information here came from Transaction Desk. So you'll see very quickly the information that comes through that you're typing into or that your agents are working on out with their customers. A lot of detail here. If I've added the information, there's my buyer and seller. I don't have to add the outside broker as an agent in Transaction Desk, but I can add it here in the back office and it will translate back to that closing area. You can, of course, document trust. I did not do that as an agent in Transaction Desk, but if they do, it will translate here as not yet received. So you can be responsible for depositing the money and documenting that it hit your bank account in the appropriate time. The commission comes down, and of course, your agent populates with their fee structure automated. So before I make any changes, I want to take a step back to the key info. Remember those checklist items or those kits that you created for the trades or transactions or pending deals, as well as the listing records. Now remember, listings don't populate here until you have that offer on the listing. But with a transaction or a trade record, you'll be able to hit this blue link that shows you the mandatory checklist items that are outstanding for this deal. So I'm going to click on this blue link in the bottom right-hand corner. When I click on this blue link, it opens a BrokerWolf web browser. There are a couple of really neat features in this area. First, those checklist or task items associated with the deal. You can even see what has been submitted, and we'll take a look at that in just a moment. You also have an email upload here in the upper right-hand corner. If your agent gave you a paper file and you need to upload it into hit your unlimited document storage in Transaction Desk, here is the email associated with this deal. From this list, we'll be able to take a look at the submitted documents and approve or reject them. I can scroll through the document, I can accept, I can reject, add a note, print, or download. Here, just to give you an example, I can reject the document. Canned notes, you can select what may be needed here, or you can create your own note and allow for that note to be saved in your canned area. Let's go ahead and approve or accept this document. Now there may not be a canned note, you may not need a canned note. We accept and save. And then when we look at the accepted offer, you see the green approved thumbs up. I can close this and store my trade record here in the back office. Now remember, if I need to make any changes to the deal, whether it be the close date or there was an addendum added and I need to make some modifications, you can do that here in the back office and it will translate back to update Transaction Desk. Please document your questions for later review. Have a great day.